Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is Martina and this is Fairyland Magic. And for this cutie, this magical fairy tale like journal, I have cooperated for the first time with a wonderful artist who has the most adorable digital kits. This was already great to use, but it's getting even better because he is offering a generous and exclusive discount for his entire Etsy shop to all of you. If you want to learn more about it and if you want to learn more about this Fairyland Magic, please stay tuned or take a cup of tea, cup of coffee. I think there's a bit to tell. So, let's start with the cover. The cover has been made by some really pretty cotton fabric, which I have further decorated with a vintage brocade doily with also some nice motifs and some gold elements. I made a collage from different fabrics, laces, burlap, some other things. Here this is a wonderful vintage rose which has been gifted to me, and of course on the edge, as you are used from my journals, if you have seen some of my videos, there is a lot of lace. I think 3 or 4 layers of lace I have added here. So let's go into the inside. But before, I would like to let you know the dimensions. So she measures 21 centimeters times 13 centimeters and comes with a 5.5 centimeter spine. In inches, 8¼ times 5¼ times 2¼ So let's open the beauty. So she is closed with a bow from sari silk in a beige tone, which very well corresponds to the colors of the cover, as should be. So, and now you have the first look into the interior of this journal, and I can start to tell you a little bit more about the cooperation. I have been approached by the designer. His name is Anton, and his Etsy shop is called BontikVintageDesigns. He has more than 500 listings on Etsy, and I was a little bit hesitant, I have to admit, in the beginning, because I've never done this kind of cooperation with anyone. And but I looked into his listings, I looked on the Etsy shop, and I was really positively surprised. He has a big variety of different designs, different styles, and it was not difficult for me to find what I was looking for, rather the other way around, to restrict myself and not go overboard. So, I have used for this journal kits from him about fairy tale houses. You will see the most pretty fairy tale houses. You will see wonderful mushroom graphics and also some shabby roses, some lace, and also some other things. But you should know that I have not made this journal exclusively with the designs from Anton. I have used also other artists. But coming back to the discount. So what does it mean? It means that he is offering a 50% discount to all of you for his entire shop if you use the code MAGNOLIA. And I know it's difficult sometimes to remember what has been said, so therefore I list all the information you need about this bonus program in the description of this video, as well as the link to his Etsy shop and the code MAGNOLIA. But let's go into this journal now. On the left hand side, I have created a flip-up thing, and I have already used some of the pretty mushroom designs. So let me open that, if I can. So it goes like this, and this goes like that. So we can open. I have added, as you can see, some beige colored cotton lace, because, of course, in order to nicely correspond to the graphic on the right side. So it opens up to the picture of a pretty fairy. And this pretty fairy, of course, also stems from this design kits I was using. So, and inside here you see another absolutely adorable fairy house. I really fell in love with these pictures. They are so cute. And what you also see here. Now, once we have opened flipped the fairy house, you see a view into the interior of a fairy house, because don't get mistaken, they might appear a little bit rustic on the outside, but inside, fairies really, really live a life of luxury, I think. This doesn't come from the kit, but it fits nicely to my story. So this is the interior of a fairy house. Look at this. And as fairies also love pretty things, they have in the pocket, I think this probably is a parfum flacon, and a wonderful butterfly, maybe a brooch. So let's close that. And also they like perfumes, obviously. And this is a dreamy fairy, and she has been further decorated with a little silk bow sitting in a lace pocket. So close, close. This journal has more than 140 pages, and I've only counted the larger ones, not each and every small one, and not each and every flip which I have added. And it also has 3 signatures, and for each of the signatures I have used designs from the digital, for the outside cover of the signatures I have used designs from the digital kits on the inside as well as on the outside, so that you also have a very nice view on the different designs, and you will see, they look really, really pretty. So here, on the first signature, I've added some, foresty, I would say, lace. And when you open it, you have a nice view on the inside. And this is some lace design, digital paper. And here I have created a little tag, also with a fairy house and some lace on the edges. And this one here, I keep it a little bit higher so you can see. It says Willkommen, which means welcome, and this stems from a catalog for household goods. And I think it nicely matches the theme, and I have sewn it on some burlap, which I have colored in violet. So these are some herbs. And on the back side I have made some stenciling in pink and green, and this of course nicely corresponds to the self-dyed paper which I have on the right side here. This is one of the Shabby Rose designs which I have used, and I have cut it out unevenly because I wanted to give it an unusual shape, and it sits in this belly band on a self-dyed piece of paper which has been decorated with some rose-colored cotton lace. This is a small flippy out, and inside there is this book belongs to card, and the future owner of this journal, because it is available in my Etsy shop, of course can write down his or her name. Nice picture, which I have tried to match with the decoration, lace decoration, ruffle decoration on the opposite side, and obviously, as you can already see, it's fraying, and whenever there's a lot of fraying, you have a high chance to assume that it's sari silk, which I have been using, because it's vintage and it's silk and therefore it frays. And I love the colors, and I have further enhanced it, I think, by adding some green lace on the back side. So you already see there is a paper clip, and this paper clip has been further decorated with a little nice button. And here you have the view on the wonderful baby deer which you have already met on the cover. And of course, this definitely stems from the digital kit, and it's so romantic. I really love it, and it's so nice. And you should know that I have secured the baby deer picture on the cover with some varnish, so that it's really resistant, and you don't have to be afraid for any tearing or so. So when we open this, because this is one of the flip outs, you can turn it like this. There's a side pocket, and there are some further things inside, like this pretty mushroom. And on the opposite side, Shabby Roses. And of course, this is also from the kit. From the kits, I have to say. Here also some nice paper. This is some stenciling which I did. This is some coloring paper which I colored because I coffee dyed it, and I love the sound, and I love yeah, I love the appearance as well. Now we come to a paper bag, which I have colored in pink. You can see it on this side. I've used a Brusho color pigments, and they are relatively intense, but I liked this pink, of course. And in order to further add to it, I have turned this little card with a fairy house. I have added some ruffles with polka dots in pink. And I have added this belly band, and also there are two pockets in this paper bag, and in these pockets there are 2 tags. Yeah, this journal is filled. It's filled with many things, and it's the usual thing. I couldn't stop, and it was done. But then I had some time, and then I thought, oh, let's add and let's add. Therefore, it's a little, not too much, but it's a little lady crocodile. But this is not the name I would like to give to her. So this pretty hedgehog card, and another adorable fairy house in a mushroom style. Isn't this pretty? So sitting on this nice design paper, which I have further decorated with some trim over here. Yes, I made a die cut of a squirrel, and I thought, no, not brown. Brown is just too boring. Let's keep it a little bit more colorful, and I've used this blue, green and light blue pattern, and the squirrel looks fabulous. Don't you think so? So this is of course, some lace. Then what I also did throughout this journal, so I've made some embossings. Some on vellum paper and some on other material, on normal paper, and this shows a dandelion, I think, and a butterfly. And here, this is one of my self-created tags. Some of you might know, I love to do it. It's decoupage with napkins, and then it's embossed, it's glittered, it's also varnished, and that's the effect, and you will find some of them in this journal. And here, this is a lace pocket. So, as we are in a fairy tale or fairyland journal, of course, you have to believe in the magic. And this is one of the embossed fairies. And as you believe in the magic, you also have to have a unicorn. And this pocket I have further decorated with some lace border trim. Here I did some stenciling, but this time not with coffee, but with avocado dyeing. And I like the florals, I like the rose pattern, and I also like this brownish reddish tone which it developed. So, and now be prepared, we are going to enter Fairyland. So this is the gateway into Fairyland, and this is really enchanted. Don't you think so? And this comes from the kit. So there was a kit which I was also using, which had very different sceneries, and this is one of those, and I have also used another one. I think it's very obvious that this is an enchanted forest, and when you go through this gate, then you are in Fairyland. This is the backside of the avocado stenciled paper. And here I have made another tag, and this time I have done some collage work with different papers. I have sprayed on some Brusho, and I have added a fairy. And this all sits on some nice design paper, as well as an Indian border, which is nicely embroidered, and the pink and the green, of course, they match. And here I've added some very fine lace. And now we are entering a summer meadow. And this is so cute, isn't it? All these flowers, these wildflowers, and of course a butterfly here and also there. This is a stamp, obviously, of a mushroom, and here what you can see is some pretty lace, which is coffee dyed and which has been gifted to me by my friend May. Hello May, if you see. Okay, so on the opposite, on the next page, lace decoration, oops, stenciling, a frame which I've turned into a side pocket, and another absolutely sweet fairy house. I really got in love with the fairy houses. So, butterfly, This is the other side of the paperback, and you can see the pink. Pink was really strong. And inside there are two journaling cards which stem from the Graphics Fairy. And as I mentioned before, I have used, because this is part of what I love to do when I do journals, I have used things from many different artists, and in order really to give a nice mixture of different things. But this one stems from one of the kits from Anton, and this is such a pretty mushroom graphic. And if you had asked me some weeks ago if I would consider doing a journal which has mushrooms in there, I probably would have said no way. But once I saw them, I think they are really, really pretty, and they nicely fit. And you will see some more. So there are some nice decoration here. I've also made, and I do this from time to time, I made an envelope in this, they call it origami technique, so it's just folding. So origami sounds a little bit more upscale, but it's in the end it's not. And inside I have added some nice stamps which I recently bought, so birds, flowers, and this is especially cute, I think, 2 little squirrels. I love squirrels, I have to say. We have some, I realize there are different ones in our garden, and now in the spring they are especially active and sweet, and yeah, also quite smart. So this is again self-dyed paper. Here another little pocket and another little mushroom card, and another absolutely sweet fairy house. Such a nice picture. I couldn't really decide which one I loved most. So now we come to the second signature, and this is such a pretty deer. It's a, how to say, mystery deer or enchanted deer. It really looks pretty, and I gave him another beautification by adding this sari silk waffle. And here another nice interior with the lace design. On this side, this is vellum paper, and this vellum paper comes in a brown tone and also has some rose golden pattern which looks like wildflowers. So I think this is a nice addition to this Fairyland Fairytale journal. Of course, I used, as I mentioned before, I warned you, I used a lot of waffles, and I used a lot of sari silk waffles, and this is one of my most preferred one. And as you know, a sari typically is quite long, so it has 7 or 8 meters, and therefore there is a lot of material which I'm going to use, and this is one of my most preferred ones. So, and I have added it to this really pretty design paper. I made a nice pocket with this really pretty lace which has been gifted recently, and this is an owl which comes from one of the kits I was using from Anton, and this is another journaling card where I have added some decoration from pink tulle. Tulle. We say tulle in Germany. So, and now this should open like this. I have added a page from Edith Holden in German, obviously. And when you open it, then you see the inside. And you also have a nice view on another of these pretty enchanted mushrooms. And I've turned this into a pocket. And in this pocket, there is a very dreamy and magical fairy. And she, there is another little fairy, I guess. Two more fairies, small ones. So it's really pretty. So, and this is also nice, I think, this decoration here. Then I've added a flip from this Shabby Rose Designs, and I've attached this lace so it's easier to flip it up. When you flip it up, then what you see here, first of all, when you take this off, you see this is self-dyed paper, where I used this pink brochure, which really turned out nicely. And I've added a cutout from the Victorian Flower Album book, which features so many nicely drawn graphics from flowers, wildflowers, on both sides. And as I cut it to size, I have added the description or the names of the flowers on a separate slip so that you can see it and read it. And this one is quite old, so I have it since many years. I bought it in a shop in London when I was living there, and this is quite some time ago. So let's put it back. Let's close it and let's close it. Oops. Yeah, and I think this coffee dyed paper came out quite spectacular, I think. This is really wild, isn't it? And on the back side, this is the deer which you've seen in big. Here it is in small. Sitting in this pocket, decorated with some trim, and over here there is some cotton lace. And this is another embroidered fairy, and I've used some gold embroidery, not embroidered, I say embossed, sorry, not embroidered. I wish I could embroider like that. So embossed fairy in gold powder, and I've added a vintage lace, which I have coffee dyed. I've sewn it on so that it has a kind of a further decoration. And when you turn it, then you see there is another unicorn, because first of all, I love unicorns. Second, I think they belong to a fairy tale journal, and it's a nice graphic. And inside this graphic, there is another of these sweet mushrooms. And another squirrel, and I stamped it. And this is, I embossed it, not embroidered, I embossed this. I waxed it with gold so that it really, the pattern really stands out, and it looks pretty, I think. And on the back side, there is the magical deer, the magical white deer on a, in a foresty graphic. This is a sticker with two sweet and cute little fairies. And when you turn that, there is a flip out. I love to do flip outs because this is, for me, this is part of the joy, to think, where can I add a flip out and where can I add a hidden pocket. And so this is a flip out. In this flip out you see another fairy house. And I put it back. When you turn it, on the back side there is a belly band, there is a tag, and there is another small journaling card with some fairy houses. Here I have added a picture of or a graphic of a fairy, of a Fairytale fairy. It looks really cute. And behind it there is a bookmark which stems from the graphics fairy. So, and this is some really light lace with some flowers. And when you flip it, then there are two further bookmarks, and I've decorated the belly band with another mushroom picture. This is some light stamping with this different writings. I think I like it because it gives a kind of a nostalgic picture. And I've added a doily, which I have also dyed with different steps. Actually, it's 2 or 3 steps, because I coffee dyed it first, then I added color pigments, and then I watered it, and I did it again, I guess. And then you have this nice effect. And because of the round shape and because of this really pretty lace, which has been gifted to me, I have added the two together because of the round shape, as I said. And here also this fairy has this round stars or dust, fairy dust. So nicely matches. And as I've sewn this on in a zigzag, uneven way, I have covered the sewing with this pretty washi tape. On this side you see a really nice grass paper, which also is a gift wrapping paper, but I think it's really, sometimes I would not like to necessarily only use it for gift wrapping. I think it's so pretty that it really deserves to be used also in a journal. And this is another embossing. And now we come to something special, another specialty in this journal. And I have to tell you a little story. I was recently buying fabric online, on an online shop. And the lady who was selling the fabrics, when we exchanged our details, our addresses, I realized that her email address is, I tried to translate, is like fairy tale creatures. And I thought, oh, fairy tale creatures. Then we started to talk, and it turned out that she is an artist, a German artist, who creates the most, how to say, I'm lacking the words, the most pretty dolls, fairy dolls, not only fairies, also dwarfs and other mystical fairy tale creatures, like her name says. And this is so cute, and I asked her if I can use some of her pictures, some pictures of her, what she's doing in the journal, because it perfectly matches. And she agreed nicely, and thank you, Anna, for letting me do that. And she sent it to me, and of course I had to reduce the size, and I made, I printed it, so it does not really do it justice. So it's really pretty. And if you want to dive into this world of fantasy which she has created, and it's really so beautiful, I let her website address, I put it down in the description of this video, because she doesn't have an Etsy shop, but you might want to check it out and have a look. It's really, really cute. And I don't know how you can do that. And it's handmade. Everything is handmade. It's amazing. So, and she's a very lovely lady. On top of that all. Okay, so another sweet fairy, another waffle, decoration, mushrooms. Ooh. Isn't this cute? I really love it. And I have printed them on some linen paper, and as you can see, I've also used the special scissors to give it this torn edge, and I think it's really nice. And what I also like is how the colors correspond to this, like to this lace over here and to this waffle on the other side. Then I have these cute and very tiny stamps of a dear family, and she lives here apparently. Another journaling card sitting on a pink, so this is the pink side, and this is part of the lace which I have been using on the cover as well. Here I have made a mobile oil, owl, not mobile oil. Sorry for that. Yeah, mobile owl. And this is a bow, of course, obviously, in order to cover the paper pin. Another embossing, stenciling, stamping. I stamped a deer on some of my self-dyed paper because this strip turned out so spectacular with this gold and red and green, and I think this is a nice addition, and it also nicely matches, of course, the color scheme of this doily. This is again this stamping. This is some green paper. This is some coffee dyed paper. There is another owl. Another embossed fairy with this lace. And when you turn that, hey, mushroom. And you can flip it up. And this is one of the hidden pockets which I love to do. And fairy house pocket. And inside there is a little tag. And this is another journaling card, small, tiny journaling card with a mushroom. And some of you who have seen some of my other videos might remember that I like to do this, what I call flippy out things. And this is this. You can flip the page, which is also quite spectacular, I guess, and make a belly band and then add something which has a kind of a decoration on the edge. And I've used one of the Shabby roses, and I've added some vintage lace so that it peeks out, and you can use the almost the full size of the page for writing, but you also have decoration, and you can keep it or leave it, so whatever. Another fairy, and we are at the end of the second signature, and we come to the last one, the third one, which starts also with some mushrooms, and I've added this pretty lace in this nice color. So it's a color between orangey and pink. I wouldn't know how to describe the colors more specifically. Very nice lace paper on the inside. Some special paper here. A mushroom pocket, and inside another small tag. It's fraying, therefore, you know, experts know it's probably sari silk, and it is sari silk. And I love the color because it's like this one almost. Yeah. Another side pocket, which I have torn in order to give it a little bit more rustic look. And here another of these sweet fairy houses. Fairy stamp. I have created a pocket with from a nice design paper, added lace, added decoration, and inside there is some tags or journaling card, and there is this pretty magic butterfly, which is AI created. So another sari silk ruffle and another lace behind it. So this is some of the things which I like to do. Here you have, this is Stamperia paper, by the way. This is a fairy forest, and I've tried to create an invisible pocket, which I have left unglued on this edge because to make it easier to flip in, to put in things. And here I've added this flip out, which is one of the pretty fairy houses, and then you have a fairy behind. Probably she is living there, and there is a tag in a hidden pocket. So, and here you have another fairy, and also decorated with lace and some old paper. And when you tear this out, then you see there is another nice picture from the interior of a fairy house, and maybe either this is the decoration of a window or maybe it's the bed, I don't know, but it looks nice and therefore I kept it in. So, and yeah, probably there is only one person who can make this pretty coffee stenciled paper, and this is May from Saudi Arabia, and welcome, hello May. So here I have some light chiffon with polka dots, another magical deer sitting in a fairy pocket, and another bookmark. I also did some stenciling, and I used the this forest stencil to create this one. I think it turned out quite nicely, and it matches, of course, the theme. Here we have some cotton lace. This is something which I had a lot of fun to do, so I used some burlap, which has these golden polka dots, and then I took out the circles, cut out the circles, and have sewn this on as further decoration for this belly band. And behind the belly band there is another fairy house, which is AI created. Oops, so by me. So this is a pink ruffle from satin, as you can see, and on the back side there is another of these absolutely cute fairy houses, which is also a flip up. You flip it out or flip it out. Then there is a pocket, and in this pocket there are several elements. There is a mushroom card, there is a bookmark, there is another of these pretty fairy dolls, and there is another piece of pretty paper, and I put it back like this. Coloring paper again. Pink paper, which I have further I think I have coffee dyed plus color dyed. So I went a little bit overboard. I like the effect a lot. And what you see here is a mini doily, which I have turned into a pocket. And this mini doily is also a gift from May. And inside there are these two tickets, which I love so much because they are pink, and they are from my friend Sarah from Canada. Hi, Sarah. And this is a big applique which I found in my stash, and of course green, it needed to go in. Here I have added some lace with these wonderful flowers, and now we come to the center spot of the third signature, and this is a very, very enchanted picture from the kids, and I didn't dare to cut it, so I just folded it over so you can see the full nice picture. It's really nice. And because of this flower, I have added the flowers over here. In this little pocket, I have added an assortment of different stamped pieces of paper which I made. This is the deer, this is the crazy deer, and these are 2 fairy stamps. And maybe the future owner of this journal can use it for their own crafting. Again, stamping, parts of this nice lace, another stamped fairy, another nice page, I think, where I have added and decorated different design papers and also added some lace, and inside there is this ex libris, and there's another tag with fairy houses. And this trim nicely matches the theme and matches the color. This is this chiffon. This is this pretty stenciled paper, stamped paper. And now we are almost towards the end, and this is from a book which is called, I think, the Fairies of Winter. And they are really cute, and therefore I made it like a flip, and you can flip it like this. And here you have a die cut in form of a butterfly, and you have 2 tags which I created. The green one, which corresponds to the green here, and the pink one, which corresponds to the pink over there. And another flippy out, like this. And inside there is a bigger journaling card decorated with some hand-dyed silk, and it's also one of the Shabby roses. Another fairy. I think this is probably the last fairy, and further decorated with some flower. The lace paper, the last pocket which you see from a nice trim, and inside there is the guardian of the fairy magic land, Fairyland Magic, and this is the magical owl. So, and lace. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed my chatty video. Just to remind you, there is this 50% off discount for his entire shop of Anton. The name of the shop is BontikVintageDesigns. You find all the information in the description of this video. Check it out, have a look. I hope to see you soon, and this was Martina. Thank you very much. Bye bye.